Okay guys, now we'll see like Node.js global objects. So there are like a lot of global objects, but we'll see the few basic ones which we use. And secondly, there are other stuff like window. So in normal JavaScript you can access window easily, like window.document or window.querySelector, window.fetch, window.location. So window is not there, just keep sure window object is not there. And because it's a browser supported stuff, that's why you never do thing which requires window object, and it will crash your app or it won't work. So let me just go to Google and type Node.js global object. Okay, so you can see we came to this website. We'll just open it. And if you want to study Node.js like in Bootstrap previously, you can just come here and check a lot of how they are using these modules, and like they have told everything. Sometimes like I have to, if want something to know, I can't find in like Stack Overflow or YouTube or Google articles. I just come here and check, okay, how this thing is work, okay, how this thing works. So you can see in global objects there are a lot of global objects. You can see a lot of, but these global objects are separated. Like these are a part of above only. You can see directory name, file name. You can see directory name, file name. Then we have exports module require, exports module process is not there. So basically these objects are available in all modules. The following variables may appear to be global but are not. The exists only in the scope of modules. See the module system documentation. So we'll like firstly we'll see some basic objects, then we'll go on other stuff. So suppose we'll say global objects. Comment is like this, like in JavaScript same, so that's no difference. Here we'll say global objects. Okay, now here I'll just write no window object. If you think everything is same as JavaScript, but there is no window object. Okay guys, now firstly we'll say directory name. It's called dir name. What does it does? Gives us the current directory. So what current directory? In which your file is sitting and you are running your file. So it gives the name. And this dot dash dash directory name is pretty common in most of the language. Like in Python also we just call it directory name. So if I just say constant directory equals to, now here we just say directory name. These, as they are such as global, so you can use wherever a lot of nested if else you are there or in a for loop, you can just easily access it. Now we'll print it. We'll say console.log directory. If I save it, now I'll just go in the terminal. So you can see for basic stuff you can just use this terminal, but if you are writing a longer line of code, so I'll suggest you go to command prompt separately. Okay guys, so let me just make it bigger, and here I'll just say node app.js. You can see this is printing, giving us the current directory. So we are in the directory Node.js tutorial. In E drive Node.js tutorial, it's giving us the current directory. So let me just give it a string literals, and we'll say like this. Then we'll have dollar, and you can see easily string literals is also fully supported in your Node.js. So we'll say the current directory is, save it. Now we'll go and run it. You can see the current directory is e Node.js folder. Now the second part comes is dash dash file name. So what does it give? So it returns us the file name. So whatever the file name is, it returns us. So what our file name country? So currently it called app.js. So same will say constant file equals to underscore underscore file name. Now here we'll say console.log. You can see here we are getting the directory. Now here we are getting the directory plus the file name. You can see app.js. So this is the file name, and here we are not getting the slash app.js. So we'll just wrap this also in string literals, and here we'll say the file name is, maybe if you run in Mac OS or Linux it directly gives you the file, that's another part, but here you can see currently it's showing us the directory, like this directory plus whatever the file name is, and you can access wherever you want in your whole code. Now suppose you directly give like x variable and say 10 and console.log 10 x, save it. Now if I run, then also it works, but that's totally wrong because in JavaScript we have seen we can do that also. Just remove this. Now there are others, like suppose require. So basically require we'll see afterwards when we do with random packages or file system, maybe like other piece of code files. So it like what to say, inherits, I'll say inherits the modules. We'll see afterwards because it's much more complicated. Then we'll say module. So module, I can say a piece of code. It's just a piece of code written in a different file or library, you can say, and these two will see like afterwards. Then something is called like process. So process, it is used for environment. So what is environment and what is process? So suppose you are making a Node.js application in your system, like you have a computer you are making in your system. So maybe your system has a bunch of software installed, and apart from that you may have hardware configurations. So that is being used by your Node.js process. Okay guys, process is means something, like something is running. So that is being used by a Node.js. But when you deploy it on server, so server means like when you run it on like a real website, you put it on DigitalOcean, like Heroku, AWS, whatever, then there it won't run. There maybe the port is like, suppose we'll study the port and all that stuff also. Suppose you are running in the port 4000, but in their environment 4000 is not empty. So that's an issue. So for that we'll use environment, and we do a lot of process stuff. So if we just console.log directly the process, we can handle that with process. I think process is not directly show. Yeah, so you can see, I mean that's so big. Let me just make. So we can just I mean that's literally very big. You can see we get a lot of information, version, then node version, v8 engine, and HTTP open SSL certificate. You can see we have a lot of other stuff. I mean a lot of other stuff, what I'll say, internal binding. Then we have I mean a lot of stuff. So we'll study process afterwards obviously. And if I just, instead of this, print require directly, now if I'll say node app.js, so you can see I'm getting a bunch of stuff here also. So we'll show you how to use the require also. But if I say module, so I think module won't print anything in my knowledge, because okay, yeah, module also printing. So you can see it's showing you like a bunch of stuff. I mean a lot. So I mean, these kind of stuff we'll see afterwards. So these are some global objects we'll use in our program, and we can use anywhere. Like if you define like in the top, then you can go into whatever nested if you can directly use there, or if not defined in the top, then you can directly use at that point of time also, not, and it will work. So there is no compulsion. And yeah, so these were some basic global objects.